In this Halo Wars 2 3 versus 3 match, I am playing as Decimus, and we kind of get put into our back left corner in our side of the map, but with a healthy transition and of course some lovely assists from our teammates, we will go ahead and try and overcome that situation that ends up happening later on in this game. But for now, we're going to start off with double supply or just supply across the map, so then we can go ahead and keep producing grunts to get resources around the map. Meanwhile, we're going to have a Kisano as center, who is playing as red, which is Apple Pie 57, and Gingerbread Man playing as Decimus as always, who is orange on that right side of the map. And we're going to be going against a Vortis, a Hunter Colony, and so things can get very interesting, especially with the fact that I am focusing on grunts right away. Shout out to my controller battery being low, and if things don't work out well in the early game, I can get punished pretty well by a Vortis, especially with the fact that they can feed off of my resources or my building structures if I can't defend them. So for now, we're going to send all our grunts over to that mini base because we saw a grunt trying to sneak their way over there. And because of that, we're going to notice that, hey, they are going after the power node right away. So we're going to go ahead and target fire on them. A second grunt comes in to help reinforce that solo grunt over there, and we're going to go with a pure economy build. We're not going to go with the classic one gen and bunch of supply moves. We're actually going to have one base production as of right now because we're pretty terrified of the Vortis, honestly, but we're doing a great job getting rid of these grunts at the beginning of this game, but they're going to keep being produced from the mini base. But luckily we have Killing Frenzy to allow us to continue to work on that. A goo mine gets dropped in by Vortis, but as long as we don't get near it, we're going to be okay in that regards. Upgrading our gen and hoping that we don't trigger the mine that's in that corner, which we have not. That's a very good sign. And because we won this, I'm going to go ahead and start focusing on getting the mini base. I feel safe to do so, but continuous grunt production is coming in. We triggered the mine by our solo grunt by accident, and now we're still getting rid of a good amount of grunts, but we're still in a little bit of a problem here because now if engineers start popping up, that's going to be goo we're going to have to try and deal with. There's a bunch more grunts being popped out as well. And there's that first sign of the engineers. So even though we have vet 1 grunts, they have to start running away right away because a marauder drop comes in as well. Double raid camp is going to be moved, and actually it's just going to be a solo raid camp. So hopefully we can get some suicide grunts to help deal with the situation. But a good Hellbringer drop comes in from the Kasano, which is going to allow us to start fighting our way back, even though our grunts are substantially injured. But we're going to try and do our best with this engagement. We're kind of microing back and forth here, but we're not really taking a good engagement as a whole, which is a little bit disappointing. But suicide grunts are going to be made, and I take that back. It's going to be hammer brutes, jump pack brutes, and because of that, I think we're kind of missing an opportunity over here. With this mine, we're going to have to fall back as well. So Chopper is coming in to scout me, and they notice that I'm going full economy. I better not upgrade another supply pad because if I do, that is incredibly inefficient. There's no way I'll be able to spend all those supplies at the moment, in my opinion. But if we do, hey, it's okay. I'll get to see if this works out or not. But this Chopper is getting some free grunt kills, which is a little bit unfortunate. And now we're going to start our own engineer production as well, while we continue to get rid of the grunt reinforcements that are happening near that mini base. So no second base is being established by the Vortis, which is nice. Meanwhile on the map, no one on our team is getting second bases just yet, but a good mini base is being taken by Orange. They have at least the one all the way on the other side. Now suicide grunts are going to be starting their production, while we continue to make engineers and grunts and have Kasano come in to help reinforce this side of the lane. I'm surprised the engineer's not there just yet to heal our grunts because they need it pretty badly. And if I go and grab that base in the middle side, that's not really the best move against the Vortis. But we're going to focus down on the mines first and see if we can get an engagement that's going to work out for us. Mine gets blown up, we're going to fall back a little bit, and we are going to go for the expansion base right by the mini. And speaking of which, I don't even think we have everything we need. We don't have the shrapnel mines, which is unfortunate. Our engineers are being focused down. So we're going to fall back. The Kasano's doing a little bit of damage. We do have some suicide grunts ready to go. And it does look like the Vortis hero is going to be coming out as well. So we're getting some good zoning here with the suicide grunts. But we still don't have the engagement. That finally suicide grunts come in and get some great engagement on the enemy. But now a Marauder drop comes in as well. Vortex Lightning will come in and hopefully we can focus down on some of these engineers. But honestly, none of that is happening right now. And the goo is just shredding the entire army that I have. And they're healing the base. And we can't target down the engineers that are doing the heals. So all in all, a big whiff and a horrible missed opportunity here. The grunts are still trying to do their best, but unfortunately they take a lot of damage from the goo, so they need to retreat. But there's even more goo by the base, so now everyone is starting to get taken out little by little, and Vortis ends up coming out, and now we're stuck between a rock and a hard place here with this leader, since we were not able to go ahead and take out that hero, unfortunately. So cleansing beam will be made, turrets are going to be made as well, and we're going to upgrade our expansion base so that way we can start getting some. Unfortunately, we're getting attacked on our main base. Hellbringer drop happens, which is very nice. If we comboed that with the cleansing beam, that would have been great. But we got a great bomb coming in from Kasano right there, and it did an amazing job. Vortis is trying to go ahead and focus down on the main base, so I'm stuck between two places. But if we can use our cleansing beam to get rid of the engineers, this is going to help us a lot. So we used it to get rid of the engineers, so now all we have is a Vortis, and we're going to be able to push that back very nicely. And red did a great job. Our Kasano did a great job pushing back the enemy as well, which is nice to see. But we still don't have an opportunity here to try and keep this Vortis leader in check. They are going through animation though, which is nice to see. But Vortis is still going to be a little bit of a problem. We got units to fight this, and we have engineers, but we don't really have everything that we want to be able to take that out very nicely. And we still have to go through the goo, which is going to be a little bit unfortunate, but we're getting our production up. Our main base is going to be our economy base, and we're going to focus on getting rid of the mini base in the back first, since we know we won't be able to get rid of Vortis. So we're having about 6 supply pads, which is actually a lot, but I think we're going to be fine. We need at least one more gen up, in my opinion, and if we don't get that, that's kind of going to be a little bit unfortunate, especially if we're going to start making some hunters or elite rangers and more power heavy unit comp. But for now, Sentinel shrapnel mines is going to go ahead and be used. We do have engineers that continue to work on this mini base. And looking at the map as a whole, Kasano will be able to get that second base up and running, which is nice to see. We're going to go ahead and get a Decimus hero since the war console will be coming out. And I thought we had an expansion upgrade on our expansion base, but it turns out we do not. So shield gen is up on our main base. We're going to keep making some hammer brutes, keep making a little bit more engineers. We got the mini base on that side. And now we're going to see if we can continue to put a little bit of pressure on this left hand side of the map. See if we have an opportunity here to take out the double mini. And it turns out light blue does have that double mini, which is not a surprise, but double upgraded supply gens, which is very interesting because you can lose that, and there goes that upgrade as a whole. So unfortunately, they're going to be losing a little bit of supply there, but with the elite rangers that we have, and we're making more of them, if that Vortis hero does show up, we're going to be able to respond to that accordingly. So now that we have what we have, we're going to send our hammer brutes all the way to the top to work on the mini base while we continue to work on our production. I mean, our economy. Our second gen is finally coming up, which is nice to see. And we're going to see what they have on the main base. Meanwhile, dark blue is doing a great job with a big push coming in on orange right now. They have a combination of Banshees and Reavers, and that's going to be hard to kind of stop for our teammates since they're just doing mass air as a whole. And the worst thing that can happen is when you're Vortis, when you're Decimus, and they're just sitting right underneath you with the anti-air. So we're going to try and get some nodes back. We're going to keep focusing on going after these armories, these mini bases. We do have a decent economy. We're making a bunch of grunts. We do have some jump pack brutes. In fact, we're going to just spend the rest of our pop on grunts. And things are looking good, I would say. We're going to go after the power nodes if possible, try to squeeze it in there. There are some mines there, and it looks like we are going to be able to do so. And finally go after one of the nodes that has not even been attacked yet whatsoever. So that's kind of interesting how 10 minutes in that happened. And now we have a chat box showing up on our screen because honestly, I don't even know how I brought it up, but it turns out right trigger and right stick is what brings that up. And so I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of it, but I haven't done so yet. But green is doing a magnificent job on the opponent's side to go after the power nodes, which is going to be a little bit sad for us, but finally we're upgrading our base. We're flowing way too many supplies. We honestly need another gen up if possible, but it is what it is. And we're going to work on that barracks that's there as well, which is going to be nice. So now we're going to see if there's a second base that's being established over here. And if there is a second base, let's see if we can go ahead and punish it. And light blue does have a second base. Dark blue also has a second base. Orange is establishing a second base. And now we're going to try and get rid of this base before anything happens. And it's looking very good so far. We still don't have that base upgraded. I thought it would have. But it turns out they have some siege coming in because Anders has Sentinel Siege. So that's going to be a little bit unfortunate to deal with. But we are keeping them to one base. And Orange had to go ahead and give up their base, expansion base that they had. So we're kind of weak on the right hand side, but the good news is that they're also kind of weak on that left hand side. But Colony is doing a great job keeping our Decimus in check. The mass air isn't able to mass up whatsoever. Now we're finally going to be able to start working on getting ourselves that second gen, third gen, fourth gen if possible. But we still don't really know what light blue is doing right now, which is a little bit suspicious. So we're going to work on our base defenses. We got supplies to go ahead and focus on that. We don't really have much power. Unfortunately, this is why I think a fourth gen would be very good and would take us a really long way. Red's pinging that they're going to go ahead and attack mid and telling Orange, hey, why don't you try and grab a base on the right hand side. But turns out Green's already there with some grunts. My grunts are coming in. We got a cleansing beam on both the warhogs and the scorpion tank, and it turns out Green has a little bit more army than what is led to be seen. Canister shells they do have. Warhog rams are coming in. Vortex lightning will come in, and we're going to try and focus it down on the Spartan to take him out, because if we're able to take him out, this is going to be very good. But we are losing a lot of our pop very fast, and right now canister shell is just doing some heavy work, and we lost our hero because of it. We weren't able to invest into the tech that we needed for that. Shrapnel mines are helping a little bit, but honestly, we lost a lot of our army. And uh-oh, there is a scarab on the left-hand side as well. So now we're officially getting double teamed. We do have a Decimus drop that we can't even use that. The balance siphon would have been the better move. But we are here with our engineers and our shrouds. We're going to pop the Y move, but they have engineers as well healing their army. So there goes the detect, and now siege has come up. So we do have a Decimus drop for us to go ahead and use, and that's exactly what we're going to try and do. Deci drop comes in, which will start focusing down on the tanks. Y move gets popped, but it doesn't really get rid of much. It gets rid of a tank, which is fine, but it's nothing that's really too drastic. We're going to pull the scarab in, but the scarab is still going to be able to do some great work. I'm starting to make some hunters, but our expansion base is gone, and there's a bunch of siege that's happening by green right now that's postured on technically my expansion base that I would have bought. So now we need to audible. No more hunters. This isn't happening. We got to switch to air. They have way too many Kodiaks, they have way too many tanks, and they have a scarab. But one thing I've seen is that there is not much anti-air, and that's good to see. So we're going to fall back with what we've got. It's not much. But Vortis is going to start working their way over to us, while we now start with our Banshee production in order to go ahead and see if we can get a counter going on time. So now we're both stuck to one base. Red's going to try and push through the middle, which is going to be very unfortunate because he's going to get shredded by the siege that's happening over there. Meanwhile, I now have to deal with all these engineers, and I have to deal with the scarab that's right on my doorsteps. Red's trying to come in for the flank, but once again it's going right through the area that's going to be shelled by the Kodiaks. Our engineers are still going to be coming around. Y moves being used by the vultures, but they're still sitting in a very uncomfortable position. Luckily, Nightingale's with the smoke screen is helping out. And now Orange is coming in with their air to come and assist, because we're going to need to get rid of those engineers. They are our biggest problem. Hunter Brand was disgusting and did a lot of damage on red, but now all the engineers are gone, which is good. And now we can start focusing down on the scare, because there isn't much anti-air. So if we do this switch, this could possibly work out, where red now needs to be responsible for taking out orange, because there is for protecting orange, because there is no anti-air whatsoever on the side of the map. There are some Kodiaks, but that's pretty much it. So red needs to get out of there, because right now the siege is just still spawning these sentinels that could easily just be avoided at this point if there was no ground units on the ground, which is why I moved my hunter out from there as well. But Cassano's still going to try and do their best over there to start clearing stuff out, but it finally turned around, which was nice. Our Banshees are finally kicking in. We're making more shrouds, we're making some engineers, and now it's time for our counterattack to go ahead and happen. Orange has a significant amount of Banshees to start clearing out army that's over here. We do have Cleansing Beam ready to go in case Dark Blue attacks, and it does look like we have a good Cleansing Beam opportunity, which is doing some great damage right now, and we're getting rid of all the Banshees, which is so nice to see. That's probably like 2,000 Banshees worth of supply right there that was taken out. And now I have my air that's starting to get bigger and bigger. Orange's air is still being incredibly dominant, getting rid of all the siege that's on that side. And now we're going to start working on the expansion base that light blue happened to have gotten because of the lead that they ended up getting. So they definitely were floating a lot of power because of the fact that they were able to get that going. And they're triple producing Reavers right now. Oh, well, the base was locked, I guess, because they had so many Reavers. Why move to go ahead and jump out of there? There is a bunch of anti-air, which can be a problem. So we got to try and find a way to just take out the anti-air first, since that is the biggest problem. So I'm coming in for the flank. Orange has done a great job getting rid of a lot of the Reavers. I come in to help focus down on the rest. And now we just have Wolverines we need to get rid of as well. I finally get Boundless Siphon, which is nice. But Wardus used their ability, but they don't have anything to combo off of it right now, which is nice to see. Inferno gets dropped, which is going to do great building damage across the board on this base. And it does look like this base is not going to last much longer. So now we got an expansion base of our own. Red has held off Dark Blue, and we have some very good momentum. They don't really have an answer to this huge mass air transition between the both of us. It's one thing if it was just one of them, but because there's two of us at this population, it's going to be a lot to deal with if they did not get enough anti-air. So we're coming in for Light Blue's main base to get revenge for taking out my expansion base. And we're going to start focusing down on the turrets once that shield gen is gone. We do have some shrouds, we have some engineers, and we're going to just keep this pressure going. So unless some anti-air comes in, which green is bringing some Wolverines in, we have to be able to take this out. And it looks like Light Blue ends up self-destructing because of that, which means all we have left is to try and get rid of green over here, because green has nothing but Wolverines, and the hero is going to end up getting destroyed as well. And that means Dark Blue has left as well because of the disconnect. And so all that's left is to go ahead and get rid of green, even though they're trying to mass produce as much Wolverines as possible. It's just not going to happen. I think the healthy transition that we ended up having between getting rid of, actually just the transition between orange and my side, and the transition I had to air myself, recognizing the fact that they were going siege and tanks and I needed to get myself more air units, was pretty much the game winner move right there. But still was not able to go ahead and solidify that stamp myself. But hey, that's what 3v3 is for. It's a lot of fun. You have your teammates to back you up, and you back your teammates up. It's all part of the team war experience. So if you enjoyed this video, feel free to go ahead, give it a like. Really appreciate it. And I hope you've enjoyed this 3v3 commentary that I have been giving so far, as these garrisoned infantry are still here, because the player is going to wait till their timer runs out so they get less penalized for losing the game. Now, Sentinel actually ends up getting dropped here, which is kind of funny, but we do have the answer towards it here with Napalm Strike and Vortex Lightning and our Banshee. But we don't have Plasma Torpedo, but it's not like we really needed it in that situation. So This game's going to a close. 4 gens, definitely something that needed to be happen. I panicked, made 2 war consoles there. Very nice to see. And Orange, by the way, did this practically all on one base, which is pretty impressive. You have to be very diligent and patient to be able to do such things. And so, looking at the stats, we pretty much did very good. Ginger Bryman did great with the anti-air whatsoever. I think there was a voice chat there for a sec. And all in all, very good experience. Hope you enjoyed it. We were pretty dominant in the stats. And with that being said, hope you enjoy the rest of your day, evening, afternoon, hour, whatever it is. And until the next commentary video.